We are going to get started. This is a board meeting of the Hamilton County Commissioners, May 14th, 2025. No, it's May 15th. I apologize. What day is it, everyone? May 15th, 2025. We have a packed agenda today, so we're going to start to roll through this. We always start our meetings with silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, so please join us in silent prayer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's do introductions from the dais. Christy, we'll start with you.
Christy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, Commissioner.
Hamilton County Commissioner Alicia Reese.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Ann Schooley, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
And I'm Commissioner Denise Driehaus. Welcome to everyone. I'm going to move that we approve of the minutes of the previous session.
Second.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move into presentations. The first presentation, and he's already up there, is a proclamation recognizing Peace Officers Memorial Day. Chief Deputy Ketteman is here. He's got a team of people with him, and I'm going to leave it to you to introduce the team. But let us go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we'll ask for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. So we've got a proclamation recognizing Peace Officers Memorial Day. Whereas May 15th is federally recognized as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls is recognized as Police Week.
And whereas the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio has declared law enforcement officers' safety and wellness a top priority and promotes the importance of individual agency, family, and community safety and wellness awareness. And whereas the members of Hamilton County Sheriff's Office play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Hamilton County.
Whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and that members of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, call upon all citizens of Hamilton County and upon all patriotic, civic, civil, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 11th, 2025 as Police Week, who by their faithful and loyal devotion of their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities.
And be it further resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby honor those peace officers who through their courageous deeds have lost their lives or become disabled in the performance of duty, and does hereby proclaim May 15th, 2025 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in all of Hamilton County. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Madam President. My name is Chris Ketman. I'm the Chief Deputy for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. I'd like to introduce a few of our men and women that helped make this happen. First is going to be Captain Brian Stapleton out in enforcement. I have Major Rue behind myself. We have Captain John Lowenstein. You see him all the time running our courts and our security. We have Captain Steve Mennick running our patrols. Marviette, who keeps me out of trouble, our HR director, and Mary Carol Melton, who keeps a thumb on me. We really appreciate this. The sheriff would have loved to have been here. She had prior commitments, so she was unable to attend. But especially right now, what's been going on with law enforcement, us losing one of our officers, this means a lot knowing that we have the board's backing and the community's backing. We're out there every day trying to maintain peace and order and keep everyone safe. So on behalf of the officers, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and the sheriff, we'd like to thank you for recognizing that.
Thank you, and thank you again for being here. It is a poignant time. So thank you for being willing to come in, accept this, and take some time out of your days to recognize this week. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you. I'm just glad we were able to take this opportunity to recognize, and I thank you, all of you, for what you do in the county. Thank you.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes, just want to echo what was said. Thank you for all that you do, and I know that all three of us was at the funeral on Friday, and I know it's a tough time, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to come around for a photo.
Can we have maybe one of you come over on that side? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, geez. Okay, right here. And then one more.
All right. Our next item is a presentation about an accessibility advisory board. We're having this today because it got bumped from a Tuesday meeting, and so we're making an exception here today for this presentation. But we thought it was really important to get this in front of the board, and I think all three of us have spoken with Neil Kelly and Bree Moss about this initiative, but we wanted to bring them in, bring it to the attention of the citizens of the county, and so we welcome you here today. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you so much for having us today, and thank you for individually meeting with us over the last couple of months. We have prepared just a little presentation about more research that we've done and our plans going forward. Are we going to pull up the PowerPoint that we have? Yes, that would be great.
Just tell me next slide.
We'll go with one hand with you. Okay, thank you so much. You can go to the next one. My name is Neil Kelly. I wear several hats. Among them, I am a city council member for the city of Deer Park, board member and chair of the SORTA Metro Paratransit Committee, and I am the board president of a nonprofit called Independence Alliance that serves individuals with disabilities in Southwest Ohio and Northern Kentucky.
I feel like maybe you should just be my mic stand, if you don't mind. No, it's okay. I'll grab it. All right. Thank you. Hi, I'm Bree. It's lovely to see you all again, and thanks for having us. I also serve with Neil on SORTA's board, as well as I am the vice chair of Cincinnati's Accessibility Board of Advisors. I'm the president of the Northside Community Council. I am a certified ADA coordinator and a program coordinator at the YWCA.
All right, next, please. So we thought it would be helpful to just go through just some quick statistics about the disabled community. So according to CDC in a July 2024 report, more than 25%, about 28.7% percent of adults in the U.S. identify as having some sort of disability. An Ohio survey from 2019 found that 36.1% of adults report experiencing at least one disability. In a 2022 health equity report here in Hamilton County, they found that 12% of county residents report experiencing a disability. We think that might be an underestimation, but that is just our opinion there at the end. And more than 10,000 more than 10,000 individuals were served by the Hamilton County Developmental Disabilities. And it's a fact that we've known both of our lives, but people with disabilities face higher rates of unemployment, underemployment, and barriers to housing, healthcare, education, and leadership opportunities. And finally, discretionary income for working age people with disabilities is about $21 billion, which is greater than that of African American and Hispanic market segments. And we have links included there for yourselves if you'd like to do further research.
So if you think about it like a genesis of this presentation that we're now bringing to you, the background is largely from Neil and I's collective experiences, as well as the observations and experience I have serving on Cincinnati's Accessibility Board of Advisors, which I will likely refer to frequently as CABA. So just if you hear me use that acronym, that's what I'm referring to. But when I joined CABA, it was 2017, I think. Some of the biggest issues that were being brought to the table were the borders and boundaries of SORT as paratransit, reasonable accommodations for visitors of the Justice Center, as well as some emergency preparedness issues. And so if you consider that those are largely intersecting with not just the city, but also county, you can imagine that these things continue to come up and these ideas continue to intersect. And so, sorry, allergies are bothering me today. You don't notice as much until you get on a microphone. Okay, so in my time there, I've tried to help narrow that scope and really kind of try to focus on city things. But the more I do that, the more I run into these intersections of city, county, state. And so at some point I reached out to Neil and I said, hey, what do you do when you encounter these things at a county level? And so that's where some conversations came up, and he offered some perspective on that.
So in further research, I reached out to individuals that I know in the communities of Blue Ash, Cheviot, of course, my perspective from Deer Park, Gulf Manor, Madeira, Montgomery, Norwood, and St. Bernard. And there were some common themes that they shared with me. Many of them have aging government buildings that cause lack of equal access. For example, lack of street access to the buildings. One of them described quote, abhorrent bathrooms in terms of accessibility without the funds to necessarily make them as accessible as they could be. They shared common themes of public spaces not designed with equal access in mind. So things like public park features such as walking paths that aren't wide enough for a wheelchair to pass with an individual walking or even a stroller. Playground equipment that isn't designed for children or adults with disabilities in mind, physical or other disabilities. And an idea that I hadn't even thought of, so closed captioning. Many of these organizations record their meetings and they don't have the funds to pay for closed captioning. So they kind of do the best they can with that. And also they reported business sectors that are mostly small businesses that lack the resources to fully implement accessibility enhancements to go beyond what is ADA required. So a couple suggestions that they recommended provide advice and expertise to other municipalities. I think that is a great role this commission could provide. And also, an idea that I hadn't thought of is peg county grants to meet certain accessibility measurables. So the commission could use expertise through what I call everyday experts and other subject matter experts to come up with measurables that you all could use in existing grants or even new grants if that comes up. Next, please.
Thank you. So again, just kind of going back to the background and where this came from, kind of explaining more of what CABA does. When Neil and I had these conversations and he was talking about all these aspects and things, he then said to me, well, what does CABA do? And so CABA is CABA is charged with, by appointment by the mayor, the goal of making Cincinnati more accessible and equitable to individuals with disabilities. And so what we do on a monthly basis is we evaluate and advise on these grievances brought formally to the city or by observations we, the members of CABA, have in our daily lives. And so we have conversations with individual departments at the city to advise on very reasonable adjustments that could be made to operate more inclusively. And then the slide has a picture of something I'm really proud of that we worked on at CABA, and that's where the checklist for rehabbing any streets or sidewalks, DOTE, Department of Transportation Engineering, will now include audible signals saying walk or wait. And that's helpful in alerting someone with low vision or who are blind. And instead of the loud, harsh chirp sound or siren, it kind of feels like sometimes, this is a much more mindful to sensory sensitivities to use this option of the voice saying walk or wait. Next slide, please. So another accomplishment I'm very proud of is tackling an intersection in Mount Auburn. And so where Dorchester meets Sycamore in Auburn, this was a newly redesigned as of 21, I believe, 21, maybe 22, that was done without curb cuts, believe it or not. And so in some spots there was actually staircases, and due to the steep grade of Sycamore, that was thought to be the only option. But we were genuinely surprised, obviously, maybe a little astounded that there was staircases at the end of a sidewalk and no other way to get around that. So we actually did a site visit and really itemized out the areas that needed to change. And clearly I am not a traffic engineer, but I did make these drawings over top of theirs. And that's how you can tell I'm not. But it's not too hard to advise that maybe stairs is not the best option for all populations, really. So often these things, just take a little second look by some folks that might experience things differently.
So Bree and I brainstormed some potential initiatives that could be taken up by this commission. And this is also gleaned from conversations we had with the three of you. So access to facilities, programs, and services. Maybe exploring better access to the stadiums that fall under the purview of the county. Infrastructure projects, new or remodeled ones that use county resources. Records requests, BMV services, I believe that's the Justice Center, HCJC, and emergency preparedness, exploring ways to make all of those venues more accessible for all types of disabilities, and develop public awareness and education that addresses the current misconceptions about individuals with disabilities. And like we've stated, provide expertise, subject matter, or lived expertise to administration, municipalities, and other partners of the county.
Thanks, Neil. And then leveraging universal design is the concept that environments, products, and services can be altered, amended, or created to be usable by all people and to the greatest extent possible without the need for adaptation or specialized design. Because this isn't about advising on ways for something to be laser focused on accommodating one detail, but instead increasing accessibility to benefit all folks. And then cross coordination with other commissions, boards, government bodies, developing a baseline of consistent application of level setting tools of accessibility that those entities and those who interact with them can benefit from. Is there still another item? Yes. Okay. Increasing representation and leadership by creating accessible paths to tables. I refer to that as somewhat of a parable in short form, as we all know, having a seat at the table is really important. Well, what do you do when you can't even get to the table? And so not just are you not invited, but you literally can't get there. So next slide. Yeah, okay. Does mirror you? All right. So just to put a finer point on what the commissioner board could offer in relation to gathering diverse perspectives, you can also consider the reason we no longer use the term handicap as it applies to a deficit within any given person experiencing disability, whereas we know it is the built environment is where the deficit exists in terms of lacking in its accessibility or availability and all the ways in which a person may be interacting with the obstacles or barriers. So whether that be relating to someone's vision, hearing, mobility, or cognition, or experiencing life through neurodivergence, mental health, chronic health conditions, or being immunocompromised, the baseline key ways to address accessibility become clear, like the items there on the left, are, as Neil said, everyday experts, is a great way to get a variety of ways that strategies become more comprehensive solutions for our entire county. Next slide. And so we can't do anything without partnerships, right? So we thought it important to lessen the vague concept of partnerships by kind of detailing out some ideas that we had here. So just in terms of what we believe will be integral and effective to the integrity of this work, I think municipalities, boards like CABA or SORTA and the Human Services Chamber, population-specific orgs, sports leagues and organizations, cultural organizations, business associations, and the regional chamber. Cincinnati State has an interpreter training program that is an amazing resource for ASL interpreters, which shout out to the county for having ASL interpretation in your meetings. And they true cornerstone kind of organizations for folks with disabilities. Greater Cincinnati Accessibility and Inclusion Network, people working cooperatively, Independence Alliance, LAD, and other organizations focused on accessible innovations. Like there's an organization called May We Help that helps design new and innovative ways to be accessible. And there's a lot of them. I won't bore you with that list. We can talk about that list later. So yeah, I'm gonna hand it back to you.
So as we wrap up, I'm going to be honest, I had a different conclusion written, but it was when I watched the news last night, it dawned on me that there are certain individuals in Columbus and in Washington, D.C. that are looking to make budget cuts and make budget decisions on their own by scapegoating individuals with disabilities and seeking to cut resources that are vital for us. Both in Columbus and in DC. And while we can't do anything about that here, I think the county has an opportunity to send an important message that folks in our community are welcome, are valued, that you all seek our opinions and pathways to leadership, and that you guys can do everything you can to bring us to the table and welcome our opinions. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today and for listening with us the last couple of months. We can take any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to us. We fortunately had an opportunity to meet individually with you, so we fleshed out some of the details related to this. But what a great idea to put a lens over the work we do as it impacts people with disabilities on all fronts, right? All different kinds of disabilities. So I'm a big fan of this idea. I think it's great. We've got some other commissions that do similar work and just providing us a different lens as we move forward with our work, making sure that we are a welcoming community, as you say. So, and you mentioned the interpreters. We so often forget to thank our interpreters, so thank you all back there. They're with us every time we meet, so we really are very grateful for your service to this community. We started that during COVID, and we've kept it since, so thank you. Shout out to our interpreters in the back. I just have two questions. One is, by way of partnership, were we to pass this resolution, which is not in front of us, by the way, today. The prosecutor is reviewing that resolution from my understanding, so we're not prepared to pass anything today. But were we to do this in the future, who are the other organizations or jurisdictions that have done a similar resolution so we have an understanding of who the partners are throughout Hamilton County or beyond, really? Are there others or outside?
Oh, well, in other cities, I've seen city-related ones, and there's a lot of counties that have a whole list of I can share afterwards. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I did look into our peer counties, and they all have accessibility initiatives.
Okay, great. That's helpful. I think we could learn from them, but we also want to know who we're in partnership with. And then I was going to, we'll speak to the details of the resolution when we get it in front of us, but I appreciate all the legwork you've done. You've clearly reached out to other communities. You've thought through how big the commission could be, how it would function. So I know you've put a lot of work in here. So thank you again for bringing this in front of us. I'm really grateful. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. I certainly enjoyed you when we met individually, and I can't wait to get this on our agenda. I just had one comment. Under perspectives of county residents, and you named all the different areas who had different perspectives of what needed to be done. If I could get a breakdown, like you have Lincoln Heights and you have Norwood, I'd like to know what each one says so we can more effectively help them. So
I can definitely get that to you.
Okay, thank you. And whatever we need to do to make everyone equal, I'm all for it. So hopefully we'll move quickly for that. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Reese.
Yes, I want to thank both of you for your work, and I've had a chance to work with both of you on various capacities, and super excited because when I was on city council, this is how many years ago, this was a major issue that we took up, and now it has blossomed and grown. At that time, you didn't have to have curbs on the sidewalks. That was something I was happy to be a part of helping to initiate with the accessibility group that we had formed. At the time, we didn't have Uber, we had cabs, and they were not picking up people in wheelchairs, and we changed the law on that. I had a chance to kind of go through some of this with my mother, who was in a wheelchair for 12 years, and I got to see a lot from her lens of a lot of stuff that we might take for granted. I think it's important as we move forward, we keep talking about we want a walkable city and a walkable county. We have to be very cautious of that because, we have more and more people that have disabilities and then more people who have knee injuries. I'm one. My knee is killing me today. But more and more knee replacements, hip replacements, and all that. And if you become just walkable, you will be leaving some people behind. So there must be a balance between those who can walk and those who can ride a bike, but also those who need to be pulled up to the front door so that they don't get X'd out. So I think it's a good time as we're looking at the banks. We need to look at that and have an entity, a group that can look and make sure that we're not Xing people out, but inviting people in. When we closing off all these streets and having people walk. The other thing I think it could be helpful as we are building garages, which is not my favorite thing, but making sure that it is accessible. We're not making it too difficult for people to come down and be a part of it. The other thing, we have been very active in a silo way over here at the county. We've worked with LAD. We've funded housing that's unprecedented. Nowhere in the country has these smart homes, and we're going to be opening up soon in Colerain Township some smart homes with the LAD. We have worked with DDS, our 513 relief bus. The bus itself, we had people come out to make sure when we were building it that it is accessible.
I've been on it.
And you've been working it too. You work it all the time. But we had the DDS day, where we have a day dedicated to people with disabilities and trying to connect all the resources. Some of the things that we've worked on. Very happy that both of you are on sorter, and you're our appointment, Neil, on the sorter board to make sure that is moving in the right direction. As mentioned earlier, the interpreters are important, but I also want to mention the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. We brought in consultants that deal with disability and made sure the height, it has braille, it has, if you're hearing impaired, it has the vibration, all of those things. And we're happy we're soon going to have a day down there. I know Bree's been down there partying, but we're gonna have everybody come down there and be able to participate in this. So we've done some things in silos, but I do think it's time that we have a full assessment of our county and have a group that's kind of staying on top of this, kind of like our Women and Girls Commission. They bring us policies and we keep adding to those policies. But we also need to make sure that we're leveraging things when we approve projects, that those projects are going to be accessible as we move forward. So I am, as I told y'all when we met, I said I was happy to be a part of it at the city, but we definitely need it at the county. And then there could be trainings with the other municipalities that are smaller, that you can help them as well. So I'm very interested in seeing this resolution and happy to move as quickly as we can to get this moving. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again for the presentation. So we'll be in touch as that resolution makes its way back over to the county and make sure that you're aware of when we have that on our agenda. So thanks again for bringing this to us. Really appreciate it.
And we'll submit the documents you asked for, Commissioner Dumas, within the next day.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we've got, Commissioners, with your deference, I'm going to move things around a little bit. I know the prosecutor is here for a couple of by-leaves, and so if you don't mind. Okay, and we've got HCR here as well. So I will bump all those up. You've got yours during your comments. Is that what you're saying? Okay, well, let's move through this one, and then we'll back up and go to that, and then go to HCR. Okay. Prosecutor Pillage is in the room. Jeff, will you set these up? These are by-leaves 2 and 3.
Sure, Commissioner. So in your packet today, you have several by-leaves. On this one, if we're advancing these, Commissioner, referring specifically to by-leaves 2 and 3. So these are 2 resolutions to employ special legal counsel through application to the Court of Common Pleas. The first resolution is to appoint, in your packet, I believe they're in this way. The first is to appoint Dinsmore and Scholl to act as special counsel for matters related to Paycor Stadium and the banks. The second is a resolution appointing Voorhees, Sater, Seymour, and Pease to act as special counsel for the county in matters related to the Cincinnati Reds and Great American Ballpark. So these are before you today, Commissioners. I would just say in making this application, the county will be pivoting from its long-standing relationship with the firm Frost Brown Todd. I do want to personally thank Frost for all of their work in the past on these projects. We've made a lot of progress down at the banks together. This isn't reflective of anything related to the work of that firm, but just more reflective of the fact that there comes a time in major projects when a different perspective on major issues is needed. My understanding is that the board and the prosecutor's office are aligned from that perspective. So these resolutions authorize the application on behalf of the board and the prosecutor to come and please for special counsel in those respective areas.
Thank you.
And I do know that Prosecutor Connie Pillich is here. I don't know if she has any comments that she wants to make on the matter, but I know she's here.
And we also, before we get to that, we also received a speaker's card on this item. Tom Gableman is here. So Tom, if you'd like to come forward, Madam Prosecutor, we'll get to you in a second. You've got the pleasure of the floor for 2 minutes.
I'll try to keep my remarks within the 2 minutes. I would just like to say, as the project counsel to the board for the last 28 years, it has been an honor and a privilege to serve this board until about an hour and 15 minutes ago when I received a call that our services were being terminated with respect to the Banks project, with respect to our negotiations with the Bengals, with respect to the Reds, and so on. That was completely unexpected, given just within the last week, in our view, it was a banner week. We reported to this board last week on Monday that as a result of the innovative action that we had taken with respect to property tax appeals, the county would be receiving $25 million in property tax refunds this year. We had taken one more innovative action that Frost Brown Todd and those in our office, Margaret Grossman, has served with us since 1997 as well on your behalf. I would just say our entire retention has always been more than just about protecting the interests of the county and being loyal to the county. It's a return on investment and a cost benefit, so that always our services, those costs were far less than the benefits that were received. From day one, we had done that. And within this same week, the $25 million in property tax refunds, Senator Blessing dropped yesterday a bill to have 2% privilege fee on sports gambling that our office, Frost Brown Todd, again, innovated, came up with it. It was born at Frost Brown Todd 2 years ago. We presented it to the board. We presented it to the governor with Alicia Reese there and said, Governor, this is a way in which we can sustain the funding of professional stadiums, not just in Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Columbus, but throughout the state of Ohio. It was groundbreaking legislation, no different than the legislation that we are pushing forward that got the property tax refunds with respect to the board. For 27 years, President Driehaus, I would like to have the courtesy to extend my remarks, since this will be our last report to this board, if you will give us that courtesy.
So we'll give you another minute. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that very much. So, as I was saying, this legislation put in by the governor in the budget for this year, once passed, would bring $1 billion back to Hamilton County. That was done on behalf of trying to get our stadiums, which we are very much involved in terms of getting the agreements done, not the 1997 agreement with Paycor Stadium, but with the Reds agreement that saved the county probably $200 million in the innovations that we presented with respect to the Reds agreement. And every single project since then that we have done has resulted in direct savings that we've demonstrated to this board over and over again. We are finalizing the economic impact report that will be presented to you. And the results of that economic impact report, by the way, is just not about $2.3 billion that is generated every year. But since 1997, together with the city, we have advanced $2.8 billion project that has over 26,000 jobs. All of that work, there is not another project in this country that has had that kind of results. And it's been through the work that we have done. We worked all weekend on this economic impact analysis so that it could be presented to you. And as far as acting under the direction of the county administrator, we continue to advance negotiations with the Bengals in order to have a paradigm shift in how that stadium will be sustained for the future, for decades. We have prepared all of the contracts with respect to the implementation of the renovation program. We have guided that program. All of that has been done. We've done that at a significantly discounted rate at $250 an hour, and we have learned recently that Voorhees is getting paid twice that amount.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your work on behalf of the county. Madam Prosecutor. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Treehouse, Reese, Dumas. I'm really here. I'm happy to make remarks, but I'm also here to answer any questions you might have about the process or what we're planning on doing going forward. So I'll follow your lead,
Are
ma'am.
there any questions, Commissioner Summer Dumas?
No, but I think it's important that the process be somewhat spoken about, since we have residents listening, people in here listening, and heard their earlier statements. Some talk about the
Sure.
process.
Well, as you know, I've been on the job for 4 months and 9 days. You might not have known the exact number of days as your county prosecutor. And since I've been in office, I have met with each of the commissioners separately, of course, to see how our relationship was doing and how we can improve things. And I have listened carefully. I've certainly heard your frustrations, your concerns about needing to improve communications, clarity, and desired results, related to a lot of things, but in particular at this point to the Bengals lease. And that's why I am recommending to you to support the resolution put forth by the county administrator to take a little bit of a different tactic. Sometimes when you have fresh eyes on a situation, you come up with a fresh idea, and I think this is the time for it to happen. As your county prosecutor and your lawyer, I want to ensure that you have the tools that you need to be effective, not just in your work here, but particularly in delivering a fair deal for the taxpayers, especially this year related to Paycor Stadium. And I bring up the Bengals and the Paycor Stadium in particular because we do have a deadline looming on June 30th, which is when the Bengals have to decide if they're going to take one of the extensions offered in the original lease. And given that we appear to have been treading water lately, because I'm not privy to everything that's been going on in Mr. Gableman's office, but I do want to concur in Mr. Aludo's recommendations to take a different tactic. And as you know, you need a team that's going to be supportive, and that is client-focused and has the skills and experience necessary to get the best deal for the taxpayers. And that's why I recommend to you, obviously, David Abrams, who my office hired a few months ago. He is a national expert and has brokered stadium deals across the country for NFL teams and projects and communities across the country. Roger Friedman, who is still a staff attorney, is not in my office today, he's home on sick leave, but he brings vast knowledge of the whole history of the work that the commission has done over the last couple decades. And he knows the technical legal processes involved. But today I am recommending you bring on 2 new partners. First, Dinsmore and Scholl Law Firm, a law firm that has deep roots in this community, having been founded here over a century ago. And Dinsmore does pride itself on striving for the utmost levels of professionalism, accountability, and skill in all the areas in which you need them. Dinsmore's lawyers are highly skilled in drafting complex legal documents, including leases, as well as their work on bonds, real estate, royalties, and development. And you'll have access to very experienced lawyers at a discounted rate, which I believe will ensure a very efficient use of county resources. My recommendation that Mr. Aludo mentioned is that Dinsmore be retained as outside counsel to work on the Bengals Stadium as well as the bank's development. And finally, the Voorhees, another local law firm named as the best law firm in 2025 for real estate, both nationally as well as in Cincinnati. And Voorhees' nationally recognized individual lawyers will work on the future lease deal of the Cincinnati Reds. So assembling a top-notch legal and negotiating team is going to give you the tools that you need to be successful. And that's my job, is to try to provide that for you as your lawyer. So again, time is of the essence. I hope you support these 2 resolutions. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Yeah, Commissioner Reese? Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right, with that, I'm going to move that we approve of by leaves 2 and 3.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes?
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I did not realize that Commissioner Dumas has a presentation, so I was going to go to the HCR, but we're going to hold for a second and do comments and motions from commissioners. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you so much. 1 second, I'll take this.
I should have asked, we don't have any other public comments online, do we? Okay, thank you. Commissioner Summer Dumas. I'm sorry.
Like in all things,
We're moving on.
I was going to say, we will, of course, make a smooth transition on behalf of this board.
Thank you.
So I'll move forward with my comments. It took a little longer this morning, so our special guest is here. If you want to come forward, Victor Sims, and Alice is here to talk a little bit about it. He's one of our Inspire recipients, raising the level of wrestling. And so I don't know if you guys got a copy of that, but he has worked with 35 youth, boys and girls. The objectives is to strength conditioning, physical and mental health, wrestling training and practice. They work on behavior at school and home, and wrestling following directions, which is so important. And I'm saying your whole speech, so okay. And they have a state championship. They were on WLWT News. 11 kids went to state, and 6 youth placed. So, Alice, would you like to say something about how they were chosen? Or?
Good morning. Raising the Level Wrestling was just pretty impressive to me. They work with younger youth, and I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Good morning. Raising the Level Wrestling worked with younger youth, with wrestling, of course, and they've been doing an impressive job. So I will let them tell you about it more so than myself, because they're doing the work. And I'll press the button here. You ready?
I won't take up too much of y'all time, but I'm Victor Sims, the founder and head coach of Raising the Level Wrestling Club. And this is my partner / coach, Donald Simpson. So basically, just a little history. So we started back in like 2022, just trying to give our sons a safe place and a couple of kids from the neighborhood to wrestle. So from there, I think we started out with like 10 to 15 kids, and from there it just grew. So the following year, we had 22 kids. This year, we ended up having like 35 kids. Some of them from low-income housing, so that's where Mrs. Bledsoe came in. Without her grant, 25 of the kids probably wouldn't have, wrestled, because they were in there training barefoot in the urban air jump socks. So by her, blessing us with the grant, some of those kids, hung around, stayed around. And like I said, so this year, I think we had like she said, 11 state qualifiers, 6 of them placed. We had 3 state champs. And then Lachlan, Woodlawn, and Reading sent us off with a parade. So I just want to thank Ms. Bledsoe.
The pictures, yeah.
Them too, because they voted for it. It was
Yes. Did you want to say something?
I just want to say how much of a privilege it is to be a part of this organization that we're running. Like Mr. Sam said, it all started small, but I knew that it would grow the way that it has, and it is growing. And I just here for the ride, and it's a blessing.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and this is what it's all about. It's so much more than wrestling. But as you were saying, you're teaching them to grow up and be strong men and women, and so that's why I came up with this initiative to make that happen. So thank you guys for all that you're doing.
Yes,
might want to say something.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing in the community. I'm only tangentially familiar with wrestling because I have a bunch of brothers that wrestled. They were okay, but they did not go to the national or state championships. But it's a really important way for kids to engage in something positive. So thanks for what you're doing. I have a quick question though. I don't know if you said it. I must have missed it. Where are you located?
In the heart of Lachlan, Ohio. Yes.
Okay, and what ages do you serve?
K through 6.
K through 6?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my, they're young. And is it boys and girls?
Yes, boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Yes.
All right, that's a different approach. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
And Commissioner Reese?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations and thank you for working with our youth. It's so important to show this positive side because there's so many people doing positive. I want to thank Commissioner Dumas for initiating this initiative, and I was certainly proud to support it right away. But I just want to, I think this is important because we need to see this side. It's more of this going on than negativity. So thank you for teaching the youth a skill, but also I'm sure as in athletics, they're learning discipline, they're learning how to deal with rules and regulations, they're learning how to compete, and all those things are great qualities as they grow up in life. And congratulations to you all, congratulations to Lachlan, and thank you for being here today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. You did a little wrestling yourself in your day, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
It's obvious.
Exactly.
It's obvious.
Okay, thank you. And thanks, Alice, for following through on that. Appreciate it, you guys. Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Dumas.
So I have just a couple other my activities for the past week. I went to the Easter Seals Redwood event at Turfway Park, which is a fundraiser for Easter Seals. It's just awesome. Easter Seals does some of the greatest things with young people and adults. Also attended the Hamilton County Small Business Day. I'm sure more will be said about that. It was a great turnout, and I truly enjoyed it. And also attended the 513 Relief Day the next day at a Corinthian. That was great also. And then I attended the Government Strategies Group Connection Luncheon with the guest was Ohio Lieutenant Governor Tressel, and he was very impressive. And because at the beginning, I know when they said they were going to choose him, I was saying, well, he only knows about football, but he has a vast history of political events, and he has a great vision for education, which is very important. We need to focus on, because as we know, some education funds have been cut. So it'll be interesting to see how we work together with him. And then I just this morning attended the Youth Wellness Workshop in Lachlan to make sure that we can try to incentivize our young people to be well as it relates to physical wellness and also mental wellness. And I truly enjoyed that. And I'm humbled to be invited to be a part of that. And that'll do it.
Thank you. Commissioner Reese.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank everyone that came out to our third annual Small Business Day. I think we had over 1,000 small businesses that came, and people were very impressed with what took place. In addition, I want to thank those who helped put all this together, and I want to thank Kelly Adamson, Robert Bell, Greg Forte, Pat Longo, Holly Christman, Richard Daughtry, Amanda Carter, and everyone that participated in making that big. We had, just so many businesses, the deal rooms, people were coming out with potential contracts and opportunities, and it was all free. So I just want to thank everyone that came out. That was a huge, huge deal. It's different. It's not a leaflet fair. It's helping people get deals. So just want to thank everyone who participated in making that, and all of the administrative staff that volunteered that day as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Next is I want to say we celebrated 513 Day and made it 513 Relief Day. And I was proud to release our 513 Relief Bus annual report. I encourage everybody to get a copy. We did it at Corinthian Baptist Church. We had a number of awards. We've helped over 23,000 people, 30,000 services, 200 stops all over, and this is a national model. Special thanks to Trevina Adams, Arlene Dorville, Scott Wilson, Lisa Webb, Bridget Daughtry, Amanda Carter, Jim Tinker, and everybody that had a hand in making this possible, and all of our partners. I think we've got over 40 plus partners, and we're going to continue to grow We will now also have a partnership with Kroger's that will be announced soon. So we're just continuously growing. I want to congratulate everyone who received awards. And I want to especially shout out to Texas Southern University Vice President, who was once the dean at Hampton University, that worked with us with a model, and we were able to honor her, Dr. Michelle Penn Marshall, for sharing their Hampton model with us, and we were able to take it to the next level. I see some people here from UC Health. They also were acknowledged. I want to thank them for letting us use their mammography bus. That was very important. Lastly, I just want to say, I know we voted on some changes, and we are moving in a direction with a lot of demands, and we don't have infinite money. I just want to tell everybody. Everybody runs down to the county and say, take your idea down there. They got the money. We don't have unlimited money. I want to tell them, we're not the bank. And so all these groups get together and they do studies, and then they run down here and say, here's the study, and by the way, the taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. We have a lot on our backs. Number one, we were talking about a hotel. Now we don't hear nothing about a hotel. I ain't seen no hotel. I ain't seen nothing. Ain't heard nothing about it. But that was supposed to be the big deal. Next, they come back and say we're going to do Fort Washington Way, and we gonna get some federal money. But then y'all know what happened up at the federal money. We just had a workshop. They cutting up at the federal level, and then whenever the federal does something, they want us to match. They never come anything without us matching. So that's some more money. Then we got a fight now between the banks, people who want to develop the banks, and then people who say, no, we want to develop uptown. So we got the upper downtown versus the southern downtown. And again, our pot is this little. And everybody's saying, no, I got the idea. No, I got the idea. No, I'm the genius. No, I'm the genius. And just coming out of an election, recent election, and we get out of just downtown. I've been to all over. And I'm sure others have too, but I've been all over. And I can only tell you what I heard. And they said they don't want everything going downtown, Cincinnati. So I just had a meeting today. Everybody's running. So here's some things that I think is very interesting. I want to be clear that I have always said on the Bengals lease, we got to be out in the open. The people thought they got screwed in the executive sessions and behind the curtain and private meetings. When I was president, I had to get a vote, and I was able to go to one meeting. That was it. One meeting. And now we're getting down to the wires, and it's just surprising that I get the information 5 minutes before the media does. In fact, one of the votes we took a couple weeks ago, the article was already written, and we hadn't even voted. They had just said, Commissioner Reese, do you have any comments? The article was already written. And I have some issues with that. I have issues that public records are asked for, and then I found out about the nasty emails 5 minutes before. Now, there's another article, and that's why they got out of here, because they always get the information, and they don't wrote the article before we can even have a meeting. I think that sends a bad message to the taxpayers of Hamilton County. In the article, it says 3 things to watch as Paycor Stadium negotiation deadline nears. Okay, and they talk about different things. They talk about the Browns and all that. But then they said, could the lease deadline be extended? And I had asked the communications person about this, and she said, Mr. Ludo, so we're going to get it straightened out, that you had said in a public meeting that we might extend the deadline. So we got a couple things here. Number one, people calling our office saying they thought we had a deal, because that's what the media ran with. We have no deal on the lease. Number two, I'm reading in the paper, could the lease deadline be extended? Now, I was not in any of these meetings. There's lots of meetings happening. And it's hard to be an interpreter of meetings. I'd rather have transcripts. But Mr. Ludo, in here it says, it is possible that the county and the team could sign another memorandum at any time if they choose to give themselves more time. I did not see that in the contract. Maybe I missed it. So I need to know, because they said, Mr. Ludo, you indicated that we are possibly working on another memo. We done had one memo. Now we talking about another memo that could be more time. What is going on with this? How did the Inquirer know that we could give them? I didn't vote for more time. So where are we? Because I asked the person, they said, yeah, you mentioned that we could do more time. Did we? And maybe I missed.
Do you want to finish your comment? Or do you want me to respond?
Yeah, I want you to respond to it.
So I don't know exactly what the article is referring to, Commissioner, but I will say that as I interpreted your comments, and as I interpret what you read from the article, that it's referring to the MOU that the board recently passed, which talked about the different deadlines, the June 30th deadline, et cetera. And I believe there was a clause in the MOU that said unless the team and the county decide to extend that, which I did say publicly in the meeting when we talked about the MOU. And it was written in the MOU. So but I'm saying that without knowing exactly what the article is.
Well, I'm just
stating,
saying that somebody had to tell them, and it has on here, the only person that's quoted, they have Hamilton County Commission President Denise Driehaus has said she believes the county will hear about the state's intention before the deadline. So she's talking about the state. The state is 30th, it says. They not giving more time. So I'm so glad I voted against that memo, because if that memo says that we're saying we're going to give them beyond June 30th, thank God I voted against the memo. That's why I'm against all these memos. Let's get to the lease. Let's get to the lease. So these are the kind of things that to me is just too murky. And then we're out here, there's a push that we need to have a public hearing. We've been having, I'm here, whatever, but I don't want a public hearing on the design of the place. I wanted a public hearing on the financing, because that's what I'm hearing from people, that they don't want the financing. But if I'm elected with 218,000 people and you done slipped in a memo that we're going to possibly get in more time, I got a problem with that. Thank God I voted no. But I just read it in the paper, and I said, dang, how did the newspaper know about a possible extension? And it has it in bold. Could the lease deadline be extended? And then it goes on. It is possible that the county and the team could sign another memorandum at any time if they choose to give themselves more time to negotiate. Now, I'm just going to be clear. We making changes, and we made some changes, but I'm going to put it out there where I'm coming from based on the people who have emailed my office, called my office. We can't have no double dealing going on, period. It's based on the taxpayers. I don't know what these meetings are. Every time there's always, oh, you misunderstood and we slipped something in, and wait a minute, hold on, they asked for public records. Let me tell you what is going to go to the public. Come on, man, the double dealing got to stop. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's not in the interest of the taxpayers, from what I've seen. It's not in the interest of the taxpayers. And this thing is going around like a circus, and the taxpayers are the ones getting laughed at. So that's where I'm coming from. I never approved going to additional time. I'm not interested in any more memos. I want to get down to the lease. It's already bad enough, and we adding more stuff. We had $65 million in a memo, and we didn't get nothing cut in the lease. Nothing. It's the same lease. Right today, we on the same lease from 1997. And I just don't see how that's to the benefit of the taxpayers, of them letting us know what they gonna do. This deadline has been in the lease since 1997. You had all these years to meet the deadline. The state of Ohio not changing the deadline. They have a deadline for a state budget, they ain't changing it. You said the NFL, they had a deadline. April 30th, they did not change it. And now here we are, we done had since 1997 till today, till June 30th to get this thing together. And I want to be clear, I'm not on board for extending this time. They need to let us know what they're going to do. And that's what the people are expecting. So I want to put that out there. That's where I'm coming from as my elected position and the people that voted for me. And it wasn't a small number. And they are saying to me, don't be fooled. I don't have the email that I was going to read it today, but it was pretty tough. But some people said what they're seeing and what we're doing. So I also don't want the public hearing to turn into an arena situation. We're setting it up for everybody. They bring people down here and say, we want an arena. I am not for raising any taxes. And there's no way that you can build both of these things. You can keep the Reds, you can keep the Bengals, and you can do an arena all within Fort Washington Way in this small sales tax. Even the Bengals went and got a tax exemption from sales tax that helps pay for their stadium. But grandma cannot get an exemption nowhere. Can't get an exemption for their property taxes, can't get an exemption for the sales tax. They're paying for everything. Middle class families, they're crushed right now. And I don't know how we afford to pay for all these things. Hotels, convention centers, Fort Washington Way, 2 stadiums, an arena, great ideas. But who in the hell is paying for it? So that's what I'm saying, and everything I do is public. So I don't want the hearing to turn into a way that they bust in people, and then they come in here and say, we need an arena, we don't need no Bengal stadium. I hope that's not the direction that we're going. But to have in that memo, ladies and gentlemen, according to what you said, is in the memo. It's in the memo. Here it is. Commissioner Reese, do not allow them to bamboozle. Do not be bamboozled in this Bengals negotiation. They went on and said, you're the only one who is honest and will say it to the Bengals' face. My grandma cannot even pay her taxes. Is probably going to have to sell her home for 47 years. I don't see the Bengals offering to help my grandma on her property taxes. Resist and get a better lease. Enough is enough of all this nonsense. So this is the kind of stuff I'm getting. That's just one. So all I'm saying is that's who I'm representing. And I didn't know in the memo it said that we would be extending the time. I don't have the memo in front of me, but that's what you just said. It's in the memo. That's why we got to read every line. I'm glad I voted no. I hope that we do not extend it, just like the state won't extend it, just like the NFL won't extend it. I think we need to know we had it since 1997. And I'm hoping that we're working, I think we're all saying we're hoping that we're working day and night to try to get to a better deal. But within this timeline, I don't want to go another year of we got to go back and forth on this same stuff. So that's what I wanted to say, and I said it because I saw it. Everything I'm doing, I got to read it in the newspaper. And I just think as elected officials, I'd like to know before it hit the newspaper. And I'd like the people to hear it. Whether you subscribe to newspapers, whether you have whether you got, whether you're looking at the news, you can hear our meetings. It should be out in the open, and that's what I'm hoping that whatever we're going to have. But there'll be a lot of articles between now and June, and there are a lot of things that keep changing. And I have some concerns about it. So I wanted to express that, and I wanted Mr. Ludo, you on record saying that it can be extended, and it's in the memo. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I just have a couple of things. Thank you all for being here. So I wanted to congratulate Candace McGraw on her retirement. She retired from the CVG. She dedicated servant to bringing things to the airport that really were a benefit to this community. So congratulations to Candace and good luck to the new director of the airport. I also was going to mention Small Business Day and the 513 Relief Breakfast, but Commissioner Reese, applaud you on both initiatives. They were great events and a lot of activity at those. I spent yesterday, though, in Columbus. One was because I'm the representative for the One Ohio Foundation from this region, Region 2, and we have been discussing at length for a long time how the funds are going to be distributed from One Ohio from the foundation. So we've got individuals here today relative to the local distribution. The foundation distribution is different, but also very important and larger. And so I am advocating for this region to make sure as much of those dollars as possible come down to the regions. There's been some conversation about investing and statewide projects, all of which I think are important discussions. But as a regional rep, I am advocating that as much as possible come down, because you all know the work that's going on down here and the lives that we're saving through this important work. So I think at our next meeting, we will make a final decision. We've been waiting, it's been a couple years, honestly, that we've been debating this, but I feel confident that at the next meeting, we will have that distribution formula, and there are many of us on that committee that are advocating that we pay attention to the regions and provide as much resources as we can locally. And then secondly, I testified in the Senate Health Committee. Evidently, the governor had money in his budget for addiction response, primarily around Narcan distribution and funding for Narcan. And as many people know, Narcan is distributed by first responders, by community advocates, by, I've got some in my purse, by all of us, trying to make sure that we're equipped to save lives if we encounter that. And that money, in part, was cut. $6 million of that money was cut in the House version of the budget. And so the Senate has the budget now, and so David Painter, who is a county commissioner from Claremont County, and myself and Tom Steinen went up to advocate that that money be restored so that we don't have a decrease in the availability of Narcan down here in Hamilton County. So I did that on behalf of the County Commissioners Association. We got a good reception, and I am hopeful that that money will be restored. That is all I have. Jeff, you have another by-leave item.
I do.
Number one.
I do, Commissioner. Just a quick comment, real quick. I did want to congratulate Morgan Peterson. I don't know if the board saw. I don't think she's here today, but from EMA, who was voted to the International Association of Emergency Management's 40 Under 40, which is a great award and a great testament to Morgan. It honors people in the emergency management field under 40 years of age who done great things. So I just would tell Nick Crisley he's still got about 5 years left to maybe try to get on that list. So
what? Is it 40 over 40? Okay.
So and then yes, moving forward, commissioners, by leave number one. There is a resolution authorizing the purchase of property insurance program and terrorism insurance program for all of Hamilton County's properties at $1.6 million. This was placed on as a by leave in order to move this forward as quickly as we could to get the new policy under codified with the county. So I know Frank Spataro is here. Back there, I didn't know where he was. Frank is here if there are any questions, but happy to recommend approval of this item. I believe this did come in at a bit of a savings over where we were. Was it over budget or over last year, Frank? Over last year. There was a slight savings as well. So
great, thank you. Any questions, Commissioner?
That was my question, the difference in the pricing. He said, and it was a reduction. That's surprising, but how much of a reduction, Frank, wherever you are?
Frank, you want to come up to the, since you're behind the pillar.
Good morning. I don't have the exact figure, but we saved, actually the initial bid by Liberty was going to be 5 to 7% increase, and our new broker Alliant negotiated with them, and they actually got us a 5% discount.
That's great.
Yeah, so that they've been doing some really good work for us.
Thanks. That's all I have.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes, thank you. I just have one question, and I'm sure or let me know, do we have this on the other insurance? We had that, the major flood. Do we have flooding insurance, or would that flood, if there was damage, I don't know how much damage, but it made me be awakened to, we got to deal with the flood.
Actually, flood is included, and if I could just briefly, Alliant and our insurance agents actually toured Paycor Stadium and Great America Ballpark on days in which the river was flooded, and they were pleased over the fact that it was bone dry inside those stadiums. So we do have insurance, but we also have the engineering that went into building those structures.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about, but we also own the garages, and those were flooded. And that's why they're there to flood. I'm just wondering if there's any damage. Is that covered under our insurance?
I'm not aware of any claims, but I can find out for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I make a motion to approve of by leave number 1?
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Thank you, Frank. All right, let's go to our regular agenda. We've got items 1 through 4. Abby Fritsch is going to introduce the individuals in the audience today related to those 4 items. Welcome.
Good morning. So this is our final week of contract execution meetings for the One Ohio local portion with the joint partnership with the City of Cincinnati. So the first resolution was with the A1 Stigma Free Coalition, which is a prevention grant for $90,000 over the course of 2 years. They anticipate to serve around 2,000 people, and the funding will support a part-time administrative position as well as the outreach supplies, as well as some media equipment. And Monty Barnett, the founder and CEO of A1 Stigma Free, is here to give a few words.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you all. Our mission is to help reduce the stigma of overdose deaths in the African American community and to improve mental well-being in the African American community by providing evidence-based treatment, education, and resources. I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for the young lady who I will always give flowers to, is Dr. Kemaria Takemba. She came to the Living God Church 3 years ago, and she made us aware of the opioid epidemic that was taking place in our community. And I was working as an outreach coordinator for a different agency, and I myself did not even know that we as African Americans was dying of the opioid epidemic. But because she informed us of what was going on, she came to our church, and she was reaching out. The AAEW, who she is a creator of, the founder, or the co-founder of, they came to our church, and they were starting with 12 churches, and our church was one of them. They made us aware, and so they wanted the churches to be involved in this crisis to help administer the information. So we jumped on. We came up with the A1 Stigma Free Coalition, and to be up here and to be able to receive funding for what was information we received by word of mouth, then an idea to put it together, and then to be up here to receive funding to make this a little bit more stronger and more impactful is a blessing. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, Dr. T, which I call her, for coming and for your passion for what you do. And because of that, we were able to create more passionate individuals. I got my director here, Michael Collins, with me today, and everyone else, they're out working, doing what they do. But again, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We'll pass these all collectively, but if we want to have a few, thanks for running through kind of the process of how what Maria Tahimba did through the AAEW, which is part of HCR and something that's supported by this commission. Sometimes we don't get to see the impact of that work, but you are a living proof of the impact of that work and how the message then, and I love the name,
A1 stigma-free.
Stigma-free. That's what it's all about. When we can reduce stigma, we can save lives.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're doing. And so it is a credit to that whole process and everybody involved to make sure that you got the information you needed to then do the work you do. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, and thank you for the work you're doing. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, sorry.
Almost. Thank you for the work that both of you do, and I know you're changing lives as you do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just joined with my colleagues in saying thank you. But it is important, that process, because one of the things that we were concerned our board was that we wanted to have agencies that are on the ground, grassroots, and how do they come in to be a part of a process that might be a little intimidating. We wanted to make sure that we could level the playing field, that the process wouldn't stop us from getting to the organizations that are really doing the work. And so thanks for sharing that process. It shows, and thanks to our team to partner and help with that process. So most importantly, you're on the ground, and we want to make sure that we are funding organizations that are on the ground and getting results. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Next, we have Talbert House, which is a capital grant under the treatment category for a total of $650,000. $350,000 of that will be for capital infrastructure, while $300,000 will be for the treatment and mental health services provided within this new building. They anticipate to serve 800 people at the Hamilton County Crisis Center, and Dr. Maria Tahimba is here from Talbert to speak on behalf of the new addition of the Hamilton County Crisis Center.
Good morning, Dr. T.
Good morning, and thank you. Truly thank you. On behalf of Tower House, we are honored to accept the One Ohio Award of $650,000 over the next 2 years to support the Hamilton County Crisis Center, which is currently under construction and is set to open in July. In the first year, this funding will assist with the capital needs of this $12 million project. In the second year, the funds will support treatment and prevention services related to recovery, increasing our capacity to serve more individuals. We anticipate that this facility will enable us to serve an additional 400 individuals over the next 2 years, which actually equals to 1,500 individuals served. The Hamilton County Crisis Center will be the focal point of the crisis continuum in Hamilton County. It will house programs delivering services across the continuum, including the 23-hour receiving center, short-term residential care, outpatient services, peer recovery support, and medication-assisted treatment. And additionally, the facility will offer primary care and pharmacy services to the community at large, accessibility without requiring involvement with Talbert House, and is open to the public during business hours. We firmly believe that the Hamilton County Crisis Center will have a significant impact on the county's abatement strategies by increasing access to treatment and recovery support through expanding capacity and additional services. We are taking a critical step towards a healthier and more resilient community. Thanks again, and thank you for your support of Talbert House.
Thank you, and thank you for being here, and thanks to the folks at Talbert for the work you've been doing for decades related to addiction. I have one question for you. So you mentioned access to these. Is this going to be a place where people can go 24/7?
It is a 24/7. Well, it is a 24/7 facility. So for the receiving center, that's right now focused on District 1. So those are folks who may encounter some crisis in District 1, can bring them to the receiving center that's actually ran by GCB. But crisis stabilization is there, and it's a 24-hour facility. as well as the engagement center will be there, and that's a 24-hour facility. We do have a partnership with Central Connection as well, and so they will have a person available 24 hours as well. So although the door might actually tick-tock lock at 7, we will have staff available to receive people after 7. Yes,
Where
ma'am.
is the facility?
It's at 510 Oak Street, the old Oak Pavilion. I have learned there's 3 Oak Streets in Cincinnati. So it's 510 Oak Street, the old Oak Pavilion.
Okay, thank you so much. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you for your continued work. I was going to ask what you just said. You keep
I
taking
know,
my
I'm
question.
sorry, I'm sorry.
But it's on Oak Street, so that's a great location. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Reese.
Dr. T, thank you so much. It shows that how complex this issue is. You can't be on just one level. It's got to be multiple levels. And so the fact that we're investing in something that's capital, which is an asset that will be a model, probably sure it'll be another national model. And then the treatment. So we have, I just think it goes back to how our board, some of the things we think about we got to do a right now help, but we also have to have an investment help that would be more of an infrastructure piece. So I just think, this is just great, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And thank you for your work, because as things change, you are able to help us change quickly to what the need is. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have From Fatherless to Fearless, which is another prevention grant anticipated to serve 250 individuals or youth. And they have a history of working with youth girls with a history of an absent father figure. So they'll have an expansion of their current programming, and Candace Creer is here to touch upon this program.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm excited to be awarded this grant. This will allow us to expand our program called Bridge. It's a social emotional learning program. It is actually offered inside of Cincinnati Public Schools here during the day as a class period. And so we're able to expand it to more schools to impact these girls. And I just want to give just a couple of statistics when it comes to fatherlessness. They're more likely to live in poverty, more likely to be teenage and pregnant, also more likely to drop out of school, a host of behavioral issues. So we come in and actually focus on coping skills, helping them to face the challenges that they have, but also helping them to increase their confidence as well as their self-worth so that they can make better decisions. So prevention for us is really focused on how do we make sure that they are educated with more coping skills and having those in their toolbox so that they don't turn to drugs. That's what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for what you're doing. It's a reminder that the breadth of the work that's being impacted here by these One Ohio grants. So thank you so much. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you for your continued work. I know you were a recipient of the Inspire grant.
Yes, thank you.
And on a smaller scale, now you're able to enlarge your coverage of who you can help. So thank you once again.
Absolutely, thank you.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes, thank you, Candace. This is another example to my commission colleagues who just talked about the process. I had a chance to meet Candace and her program, and her story is remarkable, coming out of leaving corporate America to focus on helping other folks who are fatherless to navigate that space, and has done a great job. And then I said, you know what, you need to connect with Hamilton County. And I want to thank my chief of staff, because that's when I connected. I said, hey, there is a program. And what I like about the county is that we didn't stop with that. Once we get you in, we also connect you with other potential opportunities. So I do want to thank the county staff and the administrator. I think that's who we had reached out originally in Holly, and just open up what other things that can be done, and I'm just happy to see the process, as we all said, the process really is working. So thank you.
We're truly grateful.
Thanks for being here. We've got one more.
Okay. Last and certainly not least is Cincinnati Union Bethel, doing business as Her Cincinnati, and this is a recovery supports grant that's anticipated to serve 150 women within their programming. So the funding will fund another peer position as well as CARF accreditation so that they are able to achieve the accreditation that is best practice in this field. And we have Vivian Barnett here with Her Cincinnati to speak on the programming provided by them.
Good morning.
Hello, my name is Vivian Barnett. Everybody calls me Vivian, though, right? No, you're good. I'm excited to be here. It's always a great opportunity when I'm able to stand before you guys and accept any kind of funding opportunity as we continue to expand. And please forgive me, I get really excited when I talk about the work that we're doing at Her Cincinnati. Again, we focus on individuals that have experience with trauma, human trafficking, and substance abuse disorder. To continue to add services around this heavy work, right? Our goal is to hire individuals that have life experience. We understand that there's a value there, to know that you are heard, to offer additional education groups, to work with our challenges, with some of the challenges that the women face, to change stigmas, right, Monty? To change the stigmas through a trauma-informed lens. Cultivating healthy relationships, life skills, substance abuse education, counseling, mental health counseling, case management. It is just such an amazing amount of work that we're doing, and we continue to expand. So I'm nervous, but I'm ready to run across this room and just shout, because you guys all done had an opportunity to come see our program and the many lives that we have saved since 2006. The Off the Streets program, the Anna Louisiana, which is one of our longest running social service, one of our longest running programs. And then we're one of the oldest social services in the Midwest. Kind of ill prepared, I guess.
No, you're great.
Great.
It's great. No, thank you, and thank you. You've reminded us of the intersection of so many of the things that the women that you serve experience. They're all connected to one another, and so thank you so much for the work you're doing, particularly at the Anna Louise Inn.
Yes,
it's good stuff. So, Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you for all that you do. Just really excited about the diversity that we're using to allocate the funding from recovery, prevention, capital, and also the stigma. So I'm really excited about how we diversify that funding. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reese.
Yeah, I just want to echo Commissioner Dumas. You hit it on the nail. You hit it right out the park on that one. This is no small thing, and the work you all are doing is not small. You just talked about a very important part: saving lives, and we can't put a dollar amount on that. But just happy to be able to continue to support these grants and provide these grants, and I just do want to thank our team, because I think they heard us in terms of the diversification, and I just every week we're getting that. So thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. All right, with that, again, thank you to Abby, thank you to Megan, who's in the back of the room, for bringing this to us, to organizing this process. I know it's challenging, but you've done a really great job. So without,
I want to say one other thing.
Yeah.
You had spoke about it in your comments, and I waited till we had this part. I do want to thank you up at the state, having you on the state board. I want to say that our team down here is ahead of the game, and we are a model. I wish they would just take our model and move forward.
True.
We could get a lot more done, but I like the fact that we're moving with our local money. We're not holding up, waiting on the state. And I appreciate you going to the state and telling them, let's move, let's get moving. And I do look forward. I did ask about an endowment portion, like, 10%, so we can sustain this once, the dollars are not coming in as quickly. So glad that they're looking into some of that, and look forward to hearing the answer to it. But the answer to the state is just come on down here, follow Commissioner Driehaus from when she's up at the meeting, follow her on down here and get with us and we got the answer because we're getting it to the people. It has been a long process for the state of Ohio.
Yeah, you realize when I was just there yesterday, but so many people, because I get frustrated because the money's not coming down more quickly. And some people say, you are so far ahead of the game that you have to allow the rest of us to catch up. We are ahead of the game because of Megan and Abby and the support of this board, right? And so we are ahead of the game, but we are moving these local direct dollars forward. So I appreciate that. The guy that was sitting next to me yesterday actually asked to come down, and I said, "Come on down. We'll happily host whoever wants to hear about HCRC and the work that these two are doing." So, all right. So I'm going to make a motion to approve of regular agenda items 1 through 4.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Our next item, the county engineer is here, Eric Beck. You've got item number 5.
Good morning. My item's nowhere near as exciting as yours.
That's what we count on, Eric.
We have a resolution authorizing agreement for purchase of property easements for the right and privilege to enter upon and make necessary improvements on 2 parcels for a project at Anderson Ferry and Foley Road. This is a traffic signal replacement. We previously brought one other parcel to you. This is for a parcel at 580 Anderson Ferry and 5304 Foley Road. The Anderson Ferry parcel is $2,614 and the Foley Road is $4,500. Both of those will come out of Road and Bridge Fund. These are for easements to construct the new signal.
Okay. Are these new signals, Eric?
Is a replacement signal.
Replacement. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
No questions.
Commissioner Reese.
I just have one. It might tie into this, might tie in the future, but we just had a presentation, accessibility presentation, Neil and Bree, and they showed some streets Bree had worked on with and unlike the city, the engineer has his own, you have your own department. I just wanted to see, even as we're doing these new signals and all that, making sure it's accessible, and would love to maybe suggest that Neil and Bree have a conversation before we get a resolution that we could possibly make sure we have your eyes on it to see, as you're doing a lot of bridges and streets and, those kind of things, just to make sure that, we're all on board. And I just think
That's an excellent comment. Any project that the county engineer's office does, we update any ADA to meet current requirements. That includes curb ramps, sidewalks, anything that's in the public right of way that needs to be upgraded to ADA requirements. They are done and met when we do the project.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to make a motion that we approve of regular agenda item number 5.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Jeff, I'm going to ask you to review consent agenda items.
I will walk through those items, Commissioner. The consent agenda consists of item 6. This is the actions of the administration for the month of March 2025. Item 7 is a budget adjustment. There are 2 adjustments here. There's a $17,000 transfer for a BioWatch grant in environmental services and a $15,000 grant for a transfer for a community corrections grant in municipal court. There is the purchase of item number 8 is the purchase of a Dodge Durango on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, $33,949. Item 9 is the purchase of a Ford Explorer in the Sheriff's Office, $40,802. Item 10 is authorizing the purchase of a Chevrolet Traverse as a replacement in the Sheriff's Office, $32,487. Item 11 is approval of the membership in the Local Emergency Planning Committee for Hamilton County for a 2-year term. This is the committee that is charged in making overseeing hazardous waste facilities and things of that nature in the county as required by the Community Planning and Right to Know Act. Item 12 is a resolution adopting the change to the personnel policy to provide paid leave for live organ and bone marrow donation. This is what was discussed at the staff meeting on Tuesday. Item 13 is authorizing the purchase of law enforcement liability insurance for the Hamilton County Sheriff at $129,817. The JFS items, which begin at item 14 and which comprise $2.738 million, include a subgrant agreement with Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Department of Medicaid. Item 15 is a residential treatment services agreement between the board and Abraxas at $800,000. Item 16 is a group home services agreement between the board and Block Ministries for $383,250. Item 17 is an amendment to an original single source agreement between the board and NECO for independent living services at $100,000. Item 18 is a resolution authorizing renewal 1 of and amendment 3 of an original agreement between the board and Legacy Residential Homes for group home services at $1.455 million. Item 19 is the monthly investment report for the treasurer for April of 2025. And item 20 is the request for authorization to travel at the county's expense, 1 employee in the coroner's office to Louisville, Kentucky. And that is your consent agenda, commissioners.
Thank you very much. I just want to highlight item number 12, and I see that Chase has re-entered the room. Thank you for being here. Thank you to UC Health for bringing this to us. I think it's a really important policy change. It shows the trajectory of the county and being as inclusive as possible when it comes to all things that are good for this community, really. I got a call after we had our conversation on Tuesday from one of our county employees whose husband received a bone marrow transplant because there was a guy in Germany that got this benefit. And so this is going to save lives. And so I am just thrilled that we are on the cutting edge of doing this kind of work. And thank you to UC Health again for bringing it to us. Commissioner Summer-Dumas.
Thank you. Jeff, item 14, I noticed the 2.7 million was not listed on our, and I was just wondering why we didn't put that in.
I can't speak for why why the total was not in there, Commissioner. I just wanted to make sure the board was aware of the total. So I don't know.
We have Laura on the line. We knew it was revenue.
Well, I think the commissioner's question was why the total of all the items was not listed on the agenda. You're talking about item 14.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my bad. John?
Commissioners, I can answer item 14. So item 14 is marked as 0 because we don't know the exact amount that we're going to get from the state. So that's actually a revenue item. So that's where we're receiving funds from the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, as well as Ohio Department of Medicaid and Ohio Department of Children and Youth. So that the agreement allows us to start receiving those dollars, but we don't know the exact amount of the dollars, and that will basically be notified at a later point by the state as those allocations are made. But as of now, we're projecting about the same amount of money that we've always received, about $80 million, which I think Anson presented in his presentation to the board. So,
Well, you said 0 is down. There's nothing down at all on here. But the 2.7.
Commissioner, the 2.7 is the summation of all the expenditure-related contracts.
Correct. So the 2.7, Commissioner, is a total of items 15, 16, 17, and 18. That is the total expenses. And item 14 is a revenue item, and that's 0.
Okay, well, there's not even a 0, so I don't know why.
It says mine says 0 revenue.
So,
okay, there's a okay.
But anyway, where was I? So we're anticipating revenue. We're not sure what it is, so that's great. Jeff, I would just ask as we talk about the total amount I mentioned, and you've been doing it, giving us a total amount, if we could possibly, as we read through, this is just a logistical thing, at the end, say, for a total of, because when you give the total at the beginning, people lose sight, I think, of the totality of that amount. So if you could just put it at the end, that would be great. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes, I just wanted to also comment on item number 12 as well, and thank UC Health for this. I think this is very important, and like you said, can save lives. Happy to support it.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to make a motion that we approve of consent agenda items 6 through 20.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, we've got an executive session. I just turned the page, Commissioners. I didn't see that. All right, I'm going to make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to ORC Section 121.22G3 to conduct a conference with an attorney for the public body concerning MSD.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas? Yes. Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Thank you.